Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Box Score Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan. On today's episode, this is just going to be an instant reaction to the Lions' big comeback against the Chicago Bears, winning the game 31-26. Goff with a big drive at the end of the game, a running touchdown from Montgomery. And then we also saw how Aiden Hutchinson just ended the game with that crazy sack safety from the 25. So that was pretty awesome. Before I get into the game, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the game. What were your big takeaways? I'm going to go with 3 big takeaways from this game that I saw, I have, and you guys let me know. But in the end, big win for the Lions, big divisional win. And that's what I'm going to start out with. Not a takeaway, just a sort of a PSA. It's the Bears, I know, but divisional games are always tough. And we know this as Lions fans or Lions backers for many years. When you're kind of the stepping stool, the mat or the rug that every other team walks on, you find a way to trip them up sometimes. And that's what the Lions were for a long time. Sometimes they'd have competitive years, but for the most part, they were a team that was competing hard, and they would just be like they would spoil some games as they competed hard and be like 4-6, 4-12, or whatever the case may be. So, and this is what the Bears are at. So divisional matchups are always tough, and clearly that's what kind of happened here. So let's go to my 3 big takeaways from this game. And the first one, I'm going to just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's just focus one thing on the negative, and then we'll go into the positive. And that is the Lions are going to have trouble with mobile quarterbacks. And I think that is apparent when you watch how Justin Fields ran over 100 yards on the Lions today. And part of that is because if you don't have a strong pass rush, you can't contain a quarterback like Justin Fields, like Jalen Hurts, like Dak Prescott, because they're mobile. And eventually when the play starts to break down, they get outside the pocket because the pass rush doesn't get there or the pass rush doesn't contain him into the pocket. So typically, you got 2 guys coming up the middle and 2 on the edge. Well, you hope when you're playing a mobile quarterback, you kind of collapse it, and keep him contained in order to not allow him to use his feet to beat your team. And we saw this with Lamar Jackson as well, who kind of had his way with the Lions as well. And when you have just one pass rusher, it just makes it very easy for the quarterback to know what direction they're going. So, for example, Hutchinson on the right side, he'd get pressure on Fields. Fields has 2 options. He can go away from him, and then there's probably a hole there or whatever the case may be, a space to run. Or as Hutchinson is pushing this way, all Fields needs to do is go around and go this way. And then the momentum, he'll get his space he needs to, make a big play. So my hope from this takeaway is that the Lions have somebody on their roster, because now that's what they have to have. They need to have someone on their roster that can help Hutchinson get some pressure, whether it's up the middle or especially another edge rusher. We need somebody to show up so that we have a better chance against mobile quarterbacks. That's one thing that was kind of, you could just see Justin Fields was, it's tough. I know it's tough for every team, but that's the best way to beat a mobile quarterback. Let's go to my second point. It's funny because I was going to talk about the run game. I was looking at the box score after I watched the game. I'm like, man, we only ran the ball 20 times, and we ran it effectively, 5.2 yards a carry. That includes Jared Goff's 2 attempts. But I was like, we only ran the ball 20 times. But then I remembered that the Lions didn't have the ball a whole lot. They had the ball roughly about 20 minutes, and the Bears had it like 40 minutes. So the time of possession, the Lions lost. The Lions lost the turnover battle. The Lions lost the first down battle. And the Lions almost lost the total yard battle. And yet, despite that, now this is a positive, they found a way to win. And that is what you want in your team. When you're playing inferior opponents and you find yourself in a hole, how you respond to adversity shows the kind of character your team has. And a lot of adversity against the Lions today, and look at what they did. So, I mean, even Goff, I'm not going to talk about 3 interceptions. I think sometimes, like Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, had games where he threw 3 interceptions and didn't look good, or 2 interceptions and didn't look good. And with Goff, it was one of those games. It's so far, it's not a pattern. It's the exception, not the rule for Goff this season. So I'm not going to focus on that. But the fact he had 3 interceptions and we lost the ball once or twice in fumbles shows that we had a lot to overcome. The Lions had a lot to overcome, and yet they did it. And I think that is so cool that they found a way to overcome that adversity and found a way to win. And especially in like the last 3 minutes of game, that's where they won the game. 15 points, I think, in the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds or something like that. By the way, Lions, before I forget to mention this stat, 8-2, first time since 1962, I believe. So that's pretty awesome. Okay. One thing I'd like to see them do more, by the way, real quick too, is just pretend you want to throw the ball deep every now and then. You got Jameson Williams. Let's try to throw the ball deep a couple times, even just for the threat of it would be nice. Okay, last thing I want to hit on, the new Lions kind of seem real, and I'm kind of interested to hear your Lions fans' comments on this. If you felt like I did when they got the ball back, I just felt like they were going to score. I don't know why. I just felt like it. It's not like the Lions in the past. Even when the Lions had Stafford, who I think is a better quarterback than Goff, even when the Lions had Stafford, there were moments where you're just like, yeah, it's not going to happen. It's just not. And when it did, you're like, yes, let's go. But it's like you didn't have that faith it would happen. Like you felt weird. But since Dan Campbell has been here and has established this culture of winning, Ben Johnson too, like not giving up on who they are. We're going even in the last 2.5 minutes, I was on Twitter. People were complaining because he did a draw play to start out, like when they were still down 2 scores. He started out with a draw play or run. People are like, "Are you seriously calling a draw play?" And I kind of get it, but I think it's because they're like, listen, we got to keep the run as a threat. Otherwise, we're not going to get the play action. We're not going to get Goff in positions where he feels comfortable in the pocket. And I think like it just shows it definitely is a new Lions. It definitely feels like a new mentality and a winning mentality. And I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but when they started, and I'm usually I lean more towards like pessimistic than optimistic, but I do have to say I did feel confident in that last drive that they were going to score. Now, I don't know if they were going to win. I thought they scored just a little too early. I'm like, to maybe that the Bears would do overtime, but Hutchinson just ended that. So awesome. So so those are the 3 takeaways I had for the Detroit Lions victory over the Chicago Bears. Again, let me know what you took away from the game. Big win by the Lions. Lions are 8-2. They got the Packers coming up on Thursday. Going to be watching that game, I'm sure. So yeah, if you like what you hear, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Great win by the Lions. We'll talk to you all soon. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.